All right, everybody. So, I don't know what's been going on with the YouTube algorithm or our social media overlords, but it seems that now that the weather's gotten a little bit colder, I've seen nothing but TikToks and YouTube videos about these old Ford diesels that just will not start anymore. And after spending, I don't know, an hour, maybe a little less, watching a bunch of these back to back to back, I wondered, who wants to see one that actually will start? So, our test subject for today is my brother's 1992 F350. The truck's not really important. It looks about what you would expect a 33-year-old truck to look like, which is to say, it's got some character. But what it does have is the 7.3 IDI, which I'm thinking probably will start. So why am I making this video? Well, I like old Fords. My guess is anybody who started watching my channel knows that I like old Fords, and I just generally like older machines. And I guess you could say I'm making this so younger people who are interested in old Fords and the old Ford diesels don't get discouraged or think that it's normal that these things will not start once the weather changes, because that's simply not true. And I'm going to keep it real quick and real brief, but I'm going to go over a few things that you should consider on how to get these things to work reliably no matter the temperature outside. And let me first start with a little disclaimer. I'm not a diesel guy. I don't work on diesels often, and I kind of don't like working on diesels. I would go so far as to say I know enough about them to break them. So with that, there's really only two things, or not only, but there's two main things you need to worry about if you have an old Ford diesel. And if you're meeting both of these conditions, then the truck should start regardless of the temperature. Number one, you gotta have good batteries. And number two, you gotta have good glow plugs. So why don't we get the hood open on this thing, and I'll show it real quick, and then we'll go ahead and fire it up. So here we are under the hood of the truck. It's a 7.3 IDI. It's got the ATS turbo on it. So let's start with point number one. You gotta have good batteries. We've got two interstate batteries. The connections look crappy, but they have been cleaned. Group 65. And good batteries are gonna go a long way towards helping one of these old Ford diesels start good in the cold. It's really a must-have. The other thing are your glow plugs. Now it's going to be kind of tough to see, but right down in there is one of our glow plugs. And it looks crusty and roached up, but I promise you, my brother just changed them. Now, a quick word to the wise when you're doing glow plugs. Doesn't matter if it's a 7.3 IDI, a 6.9, or 7.3 Power Stroke. And I don't know anything about Dodges or Fords, Dodges or GMs, because I'm not a Dodge or a GM guy. But I know with the Fords, when you're gonna do glow plugs, you have to get good glow plugs. We're talking either the Motorcraft brand, or I think the other brand is Beru, B-E-R-U. if you get cheap glow plugs, you run the risk of them failing, or even worse, the tips of them can swell up and it makes it real hard to get the glow plugs out. You run the risk of breaking them, and if you break them, that can turn an hour's job into a multi-day job. So make sure you get good glow plugs. Even the Motorcrafts aren't very expensive. I want to say maybe around $100 for the set of 8. And really, I think that the glow plugs are what a lot of these people whose IDIs don't start, that's a lot of their problem. And I kind of don't understand it, because I was in and out of the driveway when my brother was doing this job, and it took him about an hour, and it was pretty easy. I know that it's kind of atypical that sometimes the glow plugs will fight a lot more, but you know, he was able to get all 8 out pretty quick and get the new ones put in, and I can tell you it's like night or day difference. So I don't really know where these people are coming from that are saying, oh, I need glow plugs, I'll get to them later. It's really not a hard job, and it really goes a long way to making one of these start. I don't know the science behind it. I just know that an IDI, or an indirect injection diesel, definitely needs glow plugs. It's very important for them, as opposed to a direct injection. I mean, don't quote me on that. Again, like I said, I just know enough to be dangerous. So, glow plugs, fresh batteries, good batteries, and one of these things should start no problem. So, it's not outrageously cold today. I was thinking maybe I ought to wait a couple months until it really gets cold. But let's be honest, I'm not going to want to be outside filming. So I figured we might as well do it today. We did get a cold snap here in Virginia, and I believe the temperature was the very low 30s all night long. I know it was about 32 when I woke up today. The sun did come out, and the temps did rise to the low 40s. So it's not egregiously cold, but I mean, come on, one of the videos I watched today, some dude's IDI wouldn't even start when it was 60 out. So I figured we'd be good enough here, even though it's about 40. Now, I should also mention, let's go back to the engine real quick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down there. I want to prove to you guys this truck has not been started at all today. So if I climb up here, and if you see down the exhaust manifold, I'm going to reach down, I'm going to touch it. Engine's completely cold. Can't reach all the way over there, otherwise I'd hit the turbo. But this engine is cold. It has not been started today. So, well, let's get that put back on there. This engine has not been started today. So this is going to be a true cold start, and let's go inside and see how it does. Inside the truck here, it is a 5-speed, which is pretty neat. And I'm going to run you through the way that I've learned and been taught how to start one of these things. So first we turn the key, and we have our wait to start light. And that's telling us that our glow plugs are warming right now. So we want to wait for that light. And so our light just went off. Now we'll let the glow plugs run for a little while. And then what I'm going to do, and this might be a little overkill because it's not that cold out today, but I'm going to shut the key off. I'm going to let those plugs cycle one more time. Again, might be a little bit of overkill, but I want to show you guys that these things can definitely light off, no problem. And since we're in the mood for overkill, the other thing I'm going to do is push the pedal all the way to the floor and let it back up. And that should engage our cold, higher idle. That'll help us start a little better in the cold. Now you see that amp gauge just clicked. So our glow plugs just turned off. If I push the clutch, it should fire up, no problem. So I don't know, you guys tell me, but I think that's a little less obnoxious than watching someone absolutely melt down their starter and kill their batteries, just cranking and cranking and cranking on one of these things. So we'll get us a little outside shot of the truck running. It's idled up a little bit because remember, we pushed the pedal down to engage the higher idle for cold starting. So the truck's running a little smoother and it's idled up a little bit, and it'll do that until we either brap the pedal or we take off and start driving. Then it'll idle down to its normal idle. But as you can see, that was almost no muss, no fuss. And our old 92 Ford is ready to go back to work. So again, you guys might be saying, Evan, who cares? Why did you feel the need to make this video? And I guess it's kind of, I know it's gonna sound weird to say, but it's kind of for the inexperienced, younger people who might be wanting to get into, older trucks. And also to kind of debunk some of the myths of these old Fords. I mean, you got to think about it this way. Oh, and I'm inside the truck because the wind's blowing. It's a little bit chilly outside. Anyway, you got to think about it this way. Ford came out with the 6.9 IDI in 83. Feel free to fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's 83. And they ran the 6.9, or the International Harvester IDI V8, until 94. I mean, yes, in 88, they punched it out to 7.3 liters, but the architecture is basically the same. So they ran those trucks, that engine in those trucks, for a long time. And, they're all getting older these days, and sorry about that. You don't know how many owners that truck has had, what kind of maintenance it has had. So of course, there's that. But when these trucks, even though these trucks are old, that doesn't mean they're not reliable. And when you see all these videos and all this information these days about how, 7.3s, they're so cold-blooded, they don't work right in the cold, this, that, and the other. If they were cold-blooded and they never worked right, it's awfully interesting then that Ford would sell the 6.9/73 IDI for 11 years. Excuse me. If they notoriously don't work well in the cold. The fact is, they will. But you have to take care of it properly. Otherwise, of course not. As designed, it needs glow plugs. It needs good batteries. And if you have those two things, you shouldn't really have a problem. This truck's got 254,000 miles on it. So, it's not dead yet, but, it's worn in. It's got a little bit of blow-by, but it's still a strong running truck. And as I think we've proved today, it's a very reliable truck even in the colder weather. So, I don't know. This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment video that I just felt like making after watching a bunch of other people on YouTube not have great luck with their 7.3 trucks now that the weather's getting colder. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to show everybody that
you can run one of these and rely on one of these in the wintertime. All it takes is a little bit of time, some money, not even a whole lot of money, but some money, and it'll work. So, oh, the engine must be warmed up enough that we've now dropped out of our high idle. We've dropped to our regular idle. You heard the truck idle down. So, truck should be warm. Should be ready, ready to hit the road. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me, guys. And I'll see y'all in the next one.